Nirmal Jain, founder of IFFL Group, with us. Mr. Jain, thanks so much for taking the time out. This is Neeraj here. Good morning. Tell us, because I think the statements that have come in from you, or rather attributed to you, are that this IT review is routine, it is not an accusation or an allegation, and it happens regularly. Is that the case, or is there some separate kind of an inquiry right now?
No, I actually, there's a case, very procedural. So there was a search actually, which was done last year. And based on the search, the file basically goes to the assessment. And when they see that the operations are complex and vast, they have their own limited resources, there's a time they take help of audit, a chartered accountant firm. So this is not an audit of accounts, first of all, which I have been on record yesterday also in some other channel. This is neither investigation. This is not something which is any adjudication or any determination of penalty, or there's any case of collusion or whatever. So all these reports are completely false. The fact of the matter is that whenever there's a search, this is by law. So every search operations you'll have a block assessment of 6 years, because whenever there's a search, it covers 6 years. That is what searches under Section 129 of Income Tax Act are supposed to be. And therefore, everything that is done in this case is for a period of 6 years. And then the audit, although the name audit is very generic and it can encompass many things, but this coverage is only for the finding that they had during their search operation. So where they collected documents, data, and took statements of several of our officials, they need to be verified. The auditor here basically have to reconcile the accounts, the numbers, and then report it back to income tax. They are not supposed to, that is an input in the assessment. That is not supposed to be an assessment by itself.
So, yeah, please continue. Please continue.
For a moment. This may be good because many things are put beyond doubt. And in fact, we have all our operations are digital and through banks. So we don't have anything to fear, anything to worry about it. So when there's an audit, then there's a third-party expert validation, which makes the process faster.
Mr. Jain, good morning. Just the perspective I think that a lot of people are seeking is how long does this normally take? Because there are some people that are calling it an overhang. So, and you've said that it's a good thing because a lot of questions get put to rest. But at what point will it be put to rest?
So, the auditors basically get about 60 days time, and so the entire thing gets over within 60 days.
Okay. And so therefore, if it started yesterday, we're talking about early in the new financial year that we get a resolution. What is required from your end, Mr. Jain, in terms of cooperation?
Yeah, okay. From our end, we are cooperating fully. So they require certain data, documents from our end. And so after that, after 60 days, they submit their report to income tax. So the income tax authorities or the assessment department. So we already got notices from them for the block assessment to file revised returns that we have done. And this will go to the income tax. And
Mr. Jain, allow me to come in. I know you have a hard stop, but there is a bit of an audio glitch. We are just going to try and correct that so that we can get your some views as well. I request you to stay on for 5 more minutes. I know you have a hard stop, but because of this audio glitch, we'll have to take 5 more minutes of your time. So just allow us to fix that. But guys, it's interesting that what Nirmal Jain is saying, that this is procedural in nature, presumably gets resolved in 60 days. And therefore, I think the proof of the pudding is you take the comment that has come in from the IIFL group at face value right now, because they have a reputation that precedes them. And then in 60 days, let's see how it goes about. Yesterday, I know there were some bit of movements.
Movements was there, and okay, so from NDTV Profit's reporting team, we were trying to get clarity from the IT department as well. And what emerged from there is that unless and until the tax authorities are seeing some concerns, they do not really actually ask for an audit like this. Because they're anticipating something, and this is not a regular routine for every company. It's not a thumb rule. happens for some. Yes, these are complex transactions. The business is complex. They are probably seeing something which they want to make sure is not happening, right? So that's the reason why they are doing something like this. Now, whether IFL has been already intimated about any wrongdoing which the tax department was thinking is the question that we need to ask Nirmal Jain as well, and is the audit coming in thereafter?
Yeah.
Because that's the angle that we need to explore with Nirmal Jain right now.
Yeah, I think we'll get him in a moment from Niral. You may be wanting to ask that as well. The other point is they're just purely thinking it from a market's perspective. That people got to think of whether they're satisfied with the management explanation, a yes or a no. Because if there is one cohort of stocks which is looking very attractive right now, per se, it's the NBFC space, right? That space has gotten in the whole of the last 12 months regulations which have eased in order to lend. They are present in the gold loan segment as well, which helps them tremendously. And if all of that is going to be accompanied by good growth, then, and if these regulations are unfounded or the concerns are unfounded, then dips like these is what you look out for.
Jefferies has weighed in, by the way. So there was one brokerage note that we saw. If we have the graphics, we should pull that up. Jefferies on IFL has maintained a hold, but it's cut its target price to 600 rupees. If you pull up the chart, you'll see what the difference is. It's currently at 538 or thereabouts. It says that, and it's weighed in on the numbers as well. So it says that a Q3 profit beat was driven by lower provisions. It talks about the fact that tax authorities have directed a special auditor on accounts. The management terms the audit procedural, but it could be a near-term overhang. That's the word that they're using. The loan growth in the quarter gone by has been led by gold loans, and ex-gold AUM has consolidated, but they've also pointed out that the NIMs have improved on a sequential basis and credit costs are slightly better than estimates. So on the earnings side, it has been positive, just like a lot of other gold loan companies.
Absolutely. Earnings, it's absolutely positive. Mr. Jain, this is Hiral on this side. Always a pleasure to speak to you as well. You know, the conversation, and the reason I asked this question is so that investors get a clarification on the overhang part. We were talking to a couple of reporters who have been in touch with the IT department, and the way everyone's understanding is that the reason for such an audit is tax evasion, and that's the reason why you're looking at this kind of an audit. The tax assessment will then indicate in the next 6 months if there is a potential tax evasion. Is that something that you would agree with, or is that something which has not been communicated to you at all? This is mainly for the clarification that investors are watching out for.
No, I think this is completely false. So maybe instead of reporters, you should try and speak to some of the tax experts or the tax firm that basically handle these kind of investigations and assessment process. So because they would have gone through this, so they can tell you better about what this is supposed to be. So when the search happened, which happened last year in February, that happens with the suspicion of tax evasion, but the suspicion is not a conclusion. So when they get the documents, data, and they find something immediately, then they make the firm declare, which did not happen in our case. So obviously there was no evidence of a tax evasion at that point in time, which is obvious. But obviously they have done the process, they collected the data and documents, which they need to verify. So the way the process works is that from the search department, the file goes to assessment. Because this, just for independence, for making sure that there's one body or one set of people who collect the data and documents, the other set of people who process it. So this audit actually by no means means tax evasion or any suspicion or anything of that sort, because I'm on record, we can check this with tax experts, actually, people who understand Income Tax Act.
Got it. Mr. Jain, this is, a good clarification for the investors as well. We know you have a hard stop, so we will leave it at that and connect with you once again to talk about all the budget expectations, being a veteran in the markets as well. Thank you so much for joining in at NDTV Profit. But we'll quickly slip into a short break.